Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me for this new episode of Inspiring Our World. My name is Julie Tara, and I am your host here. And today, I am really thrilled to be bringing in one of my most beautiful friends, a very inspirational woman, Kimball Sargent. Kimball recently went platinum in Nikken. She's been with Nikken for about 16 years now, and I'm so proud of her. So Kimball, thank you for joining us so much. I know you have a super busy schedule, so I really appreciate you taking the time with us today.
Well, I was so honored when you asked me to be on because you are a great friend and these podcasts are amazing, and I was just so excited to be able to do this with you.
Oh, yay. You know, I always wanted for Nikken to have a podcast, so I'm super excited that we're doing this. And my favorite parts are the success conversations with you. So, now I know you have been an entrepreneur for most of your life. So you really are coming from an entrepreneurial background, which I love. I know you've had a couple of H&R Block franchises. You also have your own business with mental health as a psychologist, correct? So
psychiatric nurse.
Psychiatric nurse, close, yes. No cigar. Yeah, so you tell me about that. How does entrepreneurship come into your life so naturally?
Well, I think I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. I always laugh and say that my father's family landed at Plymouth Rock and the Native Americans weren't hiring, so they went and started a dairy farm. And both my maternal grandparents and my paternal grandparents were still entrepreneurs. My mother and father were. And so I had a real entrepreneur spirit, and I saw in my family the freedom that you got when you work for yourself. And so I decided that I wanted to be a psychotherapist when I was in high school. And I knew that I wanted my own practice. I didn't want to work for anybody else. And some funny things happened, and I wasn't able to get back to graduate school, but I found myself pregnant with twins. And I was working in a hospital as a nurse, and I knew that I would not have the flexibility to be there when my kids needed me. So for a year, I ran my parents' business, and it was the most prosperous it had ever been in the 13 years they'd had it. And somebody from corporate said, you should buy one franchise, so I bought two. And that was the beginning because I could take my babies to work. I mean, to me, being an entrepreneur has always been about having control of my time, having control of the amount of money I make, and being able to be there for my family. Those are huge for me.
I can really relate. And, Susan Carver says the same thing about time and about having control over her lifestyle. And I fully agree, being very entrepreneurial myself, with that I wanted to be able to do things around my kids' busy lives. They were pretty small when I started Nikken. So it was very important that I didn't compromise on my family in order to do something. But also, like you say, where there's no glass ceiling in Nikken, you can make as much as you want. And you are a go-getter. You don't do anything by halves. I know this about you, love this about you. So tell us, how did you get involved with Nikken initially? And what was it that really sparked your interest?
Well, it's sort of interesting. Nikken reached out to me 3 times before I did much of anything with it. I have an autoimmune condition that I was diagnosed with when I was 13, and I was in Duke Medical Center for a week, and they told my parents at the end that what I had couldn't be treated. I had to learn to live with it. It would be expensive, and it was painful. And so ever since that time, I had been looking at all the solutions of things that I could support my wellness with. Chiropractic, healing touch, massage, all these different things. And I was actually speaking at a conference in Jekyll Island, Georgia, probably about 1997. And I was in a lot of discomfort. And so after I spoke, there was someone speaking on energy ways to manage discomfort. And I went, and actually it was a Nikken consultant, and she introduced me to some insoles and the Mag Boy, which is now the Mag Duo. And I got these and I fell in love with them. I had no idea there was any business opportunity or anything with it. Eventually, the insoles went out with a pair of sneakers, and I began to wonder, did they really work? Nobody said anything about it. Then in 2005, I was told I needed to apply for disability, and that was something I wasn't going to do. And so I went to a holistic physician in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, Alan Spanos, who was originally from the UK. And he came here and he was way ahead of the curve. In 77, he started a holistic pain clinic. And I went to see him, and he went through everything, and he said, oh, you use magnets. He said, magnets support people with issues like yours very much. He said, it's not a cure, it's not a treatment, but I think it could make you feel better. And he said, they have something called the wellness home. I think you should get one. So he referred me to somebody, but I did nothing. And then my husband was looking to start a business, and he took a class, and he came back to my office where I was seeing 40 clients a week, and I was really stressed out and pretty uncomfortable. And he said, I think I found what I'm going to do. And I said, well, what's that? And he said, well, it's a company, and they sell really expensive beds. And next to frugal in the dictionary is a picture of my husband. I'm like, they sell expensive beds. Are you going to have to sell somebody something? Because I am the noisiest introvert in the world, and I'm married to the quietest extrovert. And he goes, yes. And I said, I'm not doing another thing. And he said, you know what? I can't tell you how I know, but I know, Kimball, that this is something I'm supposed to do. So I said, well, what is a company? And he goes, well, they started out with magnets. And I said, is this Nikken? And he said, yes. And I said, well, this was the third time that this had been brought into my awareness. And I'm very spiritual. And I think when something keeps being brought into your life, and this was the third time, that you should go and take a look at it. And so we set an appointment, and we did, and we got the wellness home. Funny thing, the night that I was buying it, I went to the presentation. I said, I want to buy a wellness home, and I want to become a distributor. And the person we'd gone to see said, oh no, you need to sleep on it. I said, no, I don't need to sleep on it. I talked to you once before and wanted to do this. You said I had to come here. I said, I want to sign up. And she said, well, you can sign up now, but you can't buy it till tomorrow. So I went home and set the clock till 3 in the morning, because after 3 in the morning on the East Coast, it's the next day on the West Coast. And I wanted to get these products. I didn't feel good. I wanted to feel better. Ordered my wellness home, and it came in about a week. And what I started noticing was more energy, feeling better, less discomfort. My life started turning around. And then I was like, oh, and there's a business here. And that just really excited me. So that's how Nikken came to me. It was the third time before I paid much attention.
I love this story, because we always say it takes multiple contact points, right, before most people get it. And usually like 4 to 6 or 6 to 10, depending on who you talk to. But it reminds me that when I started, I actually heard about it from a doctor who was in macrobiotics, but he had no products to kind of demo for me. And so I didn't really get it. And then the second time was someone else. It was very vague. But the third time was a lady who I really liked, who was very introvert, very gentle. And she just said, I just think you should take a look at this. And I had really asked for something financially. And and like you, always was entrepreneurial, even since I was a little kid, always doing entrepreneurial things as a kid. So I think we're really birds of a feather in this way. That, and when we see something and then you know it, and you kind of know that you know that you know it,
yes,
it's very foolish to not then pay attention and act. And action is the key thing, right? We have to act. Yes. You got a wellness home. I borrowed $3,500 and started because I need to be a product of the products and figure it out. I've never regretted that for a second. And then we got into action, and you got into action and started making things happen. So let's talk about that, because you recently went platinum. So obviously you've been in action. And what is it you do, and what would you say your success is due to?
Well, I fell in love with the idea behind Nikken of being the humans being more company, because my mission in life is to experience and share joy and teach others to have hope and joy in their lives. And I really believe that wellness is huge in that. And we have the 5 pillars of health. And so it really fits into why I became a nurse psychotherapist using energy technologies and energy in my practice. And so here was this company that aligned with that. And so I'm always looking and listening for people that are looking for something that I have. Who is around and what is their story that I might be able to help them? And you know, one of the cool things, and I tell this to people all the time, in my practice is different. But I've sent more people to bankrupt attorneys probably in the last 10 years than I have to psychiatrists for meds. Because you know what? If you're upside down financially, then nothing else really matters. You can talk, you know, all these other things, and you can give all the Prozac in the world, but it's not going to fix it. You're just maybe band-aiding it. So when I saw Nikken, what I saw was there was a business which takes care of the financial pillar. We have all these energy products that work on our physical wellness, that help us take care of our families and provide for society. And for people that are interested in the business, then they have more time to be in balance. So, you know, it's really, I just look for people who are attracted to the things I have and then share it. And I have a huge goal for the number of people that I would like to reach during my lifetime through this company. And it's an ongoing thing. And a few years back, I learned about this woman from Mexico, and I can't think of her name right now, but she started Nikken much later than I did. She was 60, but when she was in her 80s, she reached diamond. And when she left, she had a very lucrative business that she left behind for her children. And, you know, I became an entrepreneur because I wanted to have the time there for my kids. Now, I'm in my life journey right now where I'm taking care of my father, who is in the final days of his life. And my entrepreneurial endeavors allows me to do what I'm doing. If I had a job, I couldn't do that. But where I'm looking going forward is the legacy that I'm going to leave behind to my kids and my grandkids. And that just really excites me, that by sharing the technologies, the mission, the business, I can touch lives, and people will be touched that I will never even know, but it will be because I originally threw the stone into the pond and out that went.
The pebble in the pond is a profound metaphor for exactly what we do in Nikken, and how you can create a team of thousands and thousands of people is because you consistently are throwing pebbles into the pond, and you're seeing what it's like, or sowing seeds in the garden, in the fields. It's the same principle. And I love what you say, because, you know, I feel the same way. I think people that are strong humanitarians and really love others and do not love seeing the suffering that occurs on our planet consistently, and especially right now, we want to make a massive difference. And the question is, how do you make a massive difference? You can't do it all by yourself. Nobody can. But this is what I love about network marketing so much, and with our technologies, which are off the charts amazing, is because you can, you know, sponsor 10, 20, 100 people who get some technologies and start getting experiences. And out of those, a certain number of them are going to feel like you do. They're like, right. Oh my gosh, I want to help a lot of people and leave a legacy. Yes. And I've always felt that too. Like, I want to change the world, especially in health and wellness, because we both love joy and love and peacefulness. And how do we do that but help each person to become really healthy? Because a healthy person is a joyful person. Right. Not necessarily all the time, but generally speaking, their set, their mindset, their heart set, their energy is one of joy and love. So I love that you said that, because I think sometimes people who are caregivers don't sometimes they don't always realize that if you're really a caregiver, then you want to make a splash that is like the clap that's heard around the world. You know, you want to make that impact in your life. We're privileged to have a life. I think we chose to come. I think we chose to come at this time to help our world at this very, very tender time of difficulty. And people are struggling, as you say, financially just as much, if not more, than they are struggling with their physical well-being or mental well-being. So these 5 pillars of wellness really speak to that, don't they? Because you can talk to anyone and you can pinpoint where they really are thriving and where they really need help and support and another viewpoint, another way of seeing to correct that imbalance.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you've got 5 kids and 7 grandkids, I think. Oh my gosh. I have 3 kids and 4 grandkids. So I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing. So you want this ripple effect to keep going to affect your children's lives. You know, you can bequeath the business to them, or, you know, share it out, whatever. And then the grandkids, and hopefully they all have wellness homes, because we know that's such a key point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I knew about network marketing before Nikken, but I never found a product or products that I felt like I could actually talk about forever and never get tired of. And I think, you know, with my background in energy medicine and your background, I think for us it kind of synced up pretty fast, right? Like this is the way of the future.
It did, but it's interesting because I was pretty much a network marketing snob. I didn't know anything about it, and I thought people do that because they can't do anything else. And so that was really interesting for me, because one of the things, I love being an entrepreneur, but one of the things about traditional business is it truly is a pyramid. And you're at the top and you're the CEO. And the only way you make more money is to squeeze the people below you. And that never felt good to me. I mean, I always worked to pay my employees and my different things. We had the block offices, I paid more than the company offices did. But still, you had to really regulate that if you were going to make money. And then when I saw network marketing and saw it really explained, and it's a V, and I'm in the center. And the more successful I am is by the number of lives I've touched and the number of people that I've taught to be successful. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what it's really about, is you're successful by helping others be successful. And I got so excited, and I'm still excited.
It's great how you say it. It is a V, and everybody can come in, and everybody does come in at the same place and has the same exact opportunity to be as wonderfully successful as possible, only by helping others. And so it is a fabulous paradigm that I wish, you know, so many other businesses operated that way, quite frankly, and especially for women, Kimball, especially for women, because there is still discrepancy in what women earn compared to men in the marketplace. And we know that it's not because we're not as smart.
No.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
So,
you know, and women, interestingly, women tend to be drawn more to network marketing and be very successful in it. And that's very exciting to me.
Yes. And I bet you have a lot of women in your team. I mean, I know, you know, our whole company is 75 to 80% women, and it does make sense. And just to have no glass ceiling is such a revelation. It's like a breath of fresh air. It's like, of course, because
absolutely,
I thought it should be that.
You're not held back, no matter, you know. And I really like the idea that you don't have to have a certain degree, you don't have to have experience. You come in, and I really believe in Nikken, and we talk about the heart. It's a very heart-centered business, and I think for people who have the heart and they work hard, then they can achieve whatever they make the decision to achieve.
Correct. That's correct. And I get the impression that, similar to myself, that I don't think you worry about who's doing what on either side of you. It doesn't matter, right? It's about what you choose, and you set your goals, and then you go out to find those people. So I want to talk more about that, your goal setting, and also like, where do you find these people that are excited about what you've got to offer?
Well, I'm a big networker. I work with an individual coach. I've been working with the same coach for about 4 or 5 years now, and he and I really June together, and I have met my goals each year with him. So I think it's really important that you have someone that holds you accountable and will help you see, because when you're in a fire, it's hard to see which way you want to go. So I think the coaching is important. And then I get out and I network, and I'm a part of Business Networking International, BNI, and I've done that for about 13 or 14 years. I'm not sure where I'm at. And so I have a whole team of people who are always looking for people for me that, might have a need for my products or whatever. And so that, and again, it's built just like network marketing is, in that I look for people for their businesses, they look for me. So I have a huge, I have a team, a marketing team for me. And so that's very big. And then wherever I go, I'm always starting up conversations, and I love I think everybody's a novel, and I've always been very good at getting people to talk. So I just talk, and if someone has a need, then I go there. I guess I do use form, but I think I was using it before I ever got into this. I ask about their family, about what they do for work, how do they like to pay, and then I will do some questions like, if they say they like to ski, well, how many times have you been skiing lately? And if they say, oh, I don't go because it's so expensive, oh, that must be so the questions you ask, I love getting to know people. And then I might say, well, I might have something that would you like to talk again? I don't usually go into much with a person on the first time. I like little snippets, and and if if they have no interest, then I just say, do you know anybody else that might need more energy, better sleep, better water, or a way to make some extra money? And then you play it. I really believe, and you can look behind me and you can see I have lots of toys. Many years ago, one of my clients who was in her 80s had all kinds of toys when I went to see her at her home. She said, you got to have toys, you keep playing. And I play Nikken. I feel like, to me, that it's when you play, you never work a day in your life if you find something you love. And I really love this. This is something that I see myself doing in my 80s and my 90s, because it's not work, it's play, and it's a movement. And so that's how I find people. And it's not for everybody. It's okay. You'll find the right people.
I think we magnetize them too. I think your energy is so magnetic. You're so joyful in your being. You've always been that way ever since I first met you. And I could imagine you just attract, you magnetize people towards you. And I think that is a key. I mean, we work with magnets too, so it's kind of funny, but I do think we magnetize also through understanding that there are so many people out there who need what we have.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
Because if you have the thought, oh, I don't know how to find people, or there's nobody out there that wants what I have, you're going to create that. So it's important to know, like, what do you actually think and believe?
What you put out into the universe will come back to you. And I encourage people to watch it. If you're getting a certain objection over and over again, spend a little time inside of yourself, because my suspicion is that is something that you worry about and you're putting out there. I'm so excited about these products because I just watch how they improve lives over and over and over again. And about the only way I see products not working is if the person doesn't use them. And so I always know when somebody gets something that I can make their life some degree of better. And, we live in, a pretty chaotic universe right now. And so and the home, I think your home should be your sanctuary. So when I could do things to make that home more of a sanctuary and help energize you, help you rest more so that you can enjoy life, because life is not a dress rehearsal. Every day that we've got, that day's gone, it's not coming back. And so when I know I have something to offer that can make that better for people, well, it just makes every day exciting.
Very well said. I love what you said about the sanctuary. That I've always felt that about homes, that my home is my sanctuary. And being an introvert, although I can look like an extrovert, shall we say, but I'm actually not, I'm an introvert. People will come to my home and they'll be like, oh, your home is like a sanctuary. And I think the wellness home really makes it a sanctuary. the feeling in the air, the calmness in the water, the sleep that we get, everything. So I love that you brought that in, and so I'm curious because, now we're on social media a lot and this change is happening and our world is going through this really kind of like a tumble dryer. I want to ask you a couple of questions. One is, do you think you need social media in order to move forward? If so, how do you use it? And also about the future, let's go there too.
Well, I believe that a lot of the future will be in social media. Do I like it as well as face-to-face and belly-to-belly? The answer is no. There is a difference in seeing people 2D and seeing people 3D, and I like the 3D and you're being in person. But one of the things about social media is that we can reach out and we can touch so many people. And I'm working very diligently at getting very comfortable being on the camera and being on lives, because there's so many people that can't get out as much as they would like, and their busy lives. But when we get out there on social media, we touch so many people. And if we really want to start a movement and we really want to touch the most people, we have to move. I sometimes joke that the only people who really like change are therapists like me, because that's what we get paid for. Nobody wants to change, and change is the one thing we can count on. It's ever going. Today little kids don't know what landline phones are because of cell phones. And so, it is going to social media and beginning to share that way. I just think it's a natural thing that we're moving forward, and to kind of look at it with curiosity and play with it and think about every time that you go on. I think you have to set an intention. How many people am I going to touch with this? And how many lives can I make better? And that will help get you over a lot of thinking about you, because then it gets outside of, oh, I'm on camera and what do I look like? And is my face right? Is my hair right? Blah, 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 blah. No, because you're doing this to make someone else's life better. And I think the future's bright. I think the future's going to get even better. I heard last week at a networking event that now people are spending more money on things for wellness than they are beauty products. And that is a huge, huge change. And there are lots of great companies out there, lots of great companies. But Nikken has one-of-a-kind products and technologies. We don't have competition really. And the things that we've got are things that just go on and on, working and changing for years. So I've just never been more excited than I am with Nikken right now. And that's pretty big, because like I said, I have a father who's very ill that I'm taking care of, but I have just as much passion for this and the ability to take care of him and do my business all at the same time. So it's a wonderful opportunity.
I couldn't agree more. And I think, you said so many valuable things there. A lot of people are either taking care of kids or they're taking care of parents. And right now we're seeing I'm meeting a lot of people taking care of elderly parents, and it's a big job. It's a big job. And you and I talked on the phone the other day. I love you as my friend. I always have. And I, again, feel like we're birds of a feather, and we talk about the tiger's eye and all the cool stuff that we resonate on. But, just hearing what's going on, and that you can have the flexibility to be able to take care of your father with more time than perhaps you even knew was going to happen. And I don't know, I had a lot of compassion for your situation, and also a lot of what would be the right word? Not pride, but like, I'm so glad Kimball chose this way, right? Of Nikken, so that you have your income, that it's building with or without you at this point, so that you can do these other things. And of course, we know many stories like Dennis Williams, when he had a heart attack and he couldn't work, and he was so grateful he had this amazing business, So what do you see about the future? I love the future. I love bringing the future into the now. What do you see for Nikken as a company? It's already proved itself so successfully. but for our future, the future of our world?
Well, I think that, you know, I have a medical background and there are lots of viruses and different things out there. And there's a good likelihood with overpopulation and different things, life on our planet is going to continue to have a lot of ups and downs. And I just see wellness homes being a huge key, or wellness sanctuaries, as I call them, because we've got to find, we don't treat, we don't diagnose, we don't cure. We have these natural technologies. I believe that disease is caused, it's dis-ease, and it's caused because we're not connecting with nature. And when you connect with your nature, it decreases stress, and then it helps you live with ease. And so I believe that we have things, and I see us getting, we're already a global company. I see us getting larger and larger because we really have what people are looking for all around the globe. There is not a country that is not looking for what we have. We can help people cleaner water, cleaner air, better sleep, more energy, organic nutrition. You know, no treating, no curing, no diagnosing. We are helping people thrive. And I just think that right now is the absolute best time there's ever been to join this company. I mean, it's a movement. Everybody's seen that thing where the little guy's on the beach and he starts doing his little dance. Well, this is that time because we have a major solution, because it's not just one thing. You know, health and well-being is a whole number of things, and we bring it all together. So I think that Nikken is going to explode over the next, you know, I think by 2025 that we are going to see 10 million people really on the move and being changed by all of this.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I think our time is so pertinent in the marketplace right now. Our market penetration is so low. And the people that are involved now are very, very, very lucky. Yes. If they're in action, they're so lucky because they can build something now. And then when everybody, you know, you have the masses that want what we have, they will be set. And so I think it's the key is in action as anything in life, I love plants. I need to take care of them and water them, you know. I love to cook organic food. I need to take care to cook my dinners. You know, it's action. And our action in Nikken is meeting people, talking with people, finding out their needs and helping them get their needs met, right?
Absolutely.
Simply, that's it. And social media is one area, and there's different venues there, from Instagram to TikTok to Facebook to YouTube, and you can find your place. And I enjoy YouTube, but I actually enjoy Facebook a lot too. Instagram, I'm not as good on Instagram yet. And I just signed up for TikTok. And I can't wait because I know, because being an, you know, artist and dancer, I'm going to have some fun with that. Watching what people do and then trying to do it. So I think it's about creativity a lot. I just listened to Lee Harris this morning on his podcast talking with Sark, who's always talked about creativity, and it was a wonderful, wonderful conversation. And I feel like with our work with people, it's about creativity with people, creative conversations with people, a lot of listening, and then speaking when needed. I would say it's probably 80% listening, 20% speaking, actually.
Absolutely.
And you're brilliant at that, because as vivacious as you are, you still know how to really listen. And I think your background has probably given you a lot of tools for that, right? So it's great. Honestly, I know you'll be going to the top in this, Kimball. I absolutely know it. I've always known it. And anything I can do to help you, I'm right here by your side, running along with you. And thank you so much for just taking this time and being with me on this podcast. I know people will love it. And I appreciate you so much, so very much.
Again, I was very honored to be your guest. I always love talking with you and love sharing Nikken with others.
I know you do, and me too. We'll never stop.
No.
Well, thank you everyone for listening. I hope you got a lot out of this conversation. I know we could go on for hours, but we won't, because your time is really important too, and ours. And so we'll say goodbye. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, comment on the YouTube channel. Please do that. We love that. And like the video. That helps all the algorithms for us to get out there in the world. So I will see you next week. Have a wonderful, blessed week, and just have fun on the journey. Have fun. That's key. Right, Kimball?
That's right. Play all the way.
Play all the way. Okay, thanks. Bye for now, everyone. Bye-bye.